MSDS means Material Data Safety Sheet. All the uh, cargo owner, they provide the MSDS to the vessel, which gives all information. What all information it gives, we can see. This is a sample copy of the crude oil. And crude oil has got two type of crude oil. One is sweet and one is sour. Sweet is less than 0.5%. It is sweet. It is good. And there are, if it is more than that, then it is sour. Sour means it is bad. Bad in the sense it is dangerous. The hydrogen sulfide is more, sulfur is more, so it become crude oil. We have two different type of crude oil is available in the world. So in MSDS, what all information it given? So this is the name of the material name, crude oil. There is a number. This number, each product has got a number. This number gives all the details that what is that actually this product. And this name, it should be used such name that you cannot use the trade name. Trade name can vary company to company. So that will not give you the clear picture what product it is, what cargo it is. So this cash number is identifying this crude oil, sweet crude oil. It has got a particular number. And then relevant identify using the substances mixture advice agent. This is a refinery feedstock that a product for use. And then the manufacturer is Shell Trading Company. Then the manufacturer details is there of the refinery. Emergency telephone number, other information because you can usually they are contacted. Hazard identification, this hazard class, the hazard statement, it is flammable liquid category H224. Then it can give you a cardiac attack, this gases. So category IV. Then it can create a cancer also. Serious eye damage it can happen. Aspiration hazard it can. Specific target organ toxicity, because of toxicity, specific organ can be affected. Then exposure category is narrow, liver, and thymus. Specific target organ toxicity, single exposure, it can be dangerous, and central nervous system also can be affected. Hazardous to the aquatic environment, long-term hazard, because crude oil is very sticky. It's very difficult to clean. It takes very long time to clean. That's why crude oil is so dangerous for the environment. Then highly flammable. This is carcinogenic, that is the cancer it can have, and then it is harmful, dangerous of the environment. Now, the label, because of this, what should be the symbol? Flammable, health hazard, this and environmental hazard also. So it is danger. Then physical hazard, extremely flammable liquid and vapor, environmental hazard, toxic and aquatic, and health hazard may cause cancer, fatal, means fatal, you can collapse, people can collapse, serious eye irritation. These all details is the nervous system it can affect, damage to the organ, liver, this repeat of exposure to skin dryness and the cracking of the skin. Then it gives you the information of the precautionary statement, special instruction before use, keep away from heat, spark because it is flammable, no smoking, wear protection gloves and the goggles, and face protection, face shield you can use. Then immediate call poison cancer, a poison center, because if it is swallowed, it goes inside, and doctor and physician. And dispose contains the container to be appropriately waste on the site. It means that it is properly, it has to be disposed. You see, other health hazard, there are hydrogen sulfide, which is very toxic, highly toxic, and people can, if inhale, people can lose their life. Extremely flammable, toxic gases, and this hydrogen. That's why hydrogen sulfide is specifically is mentioned, because it is one of the deadliest gas in the world. This is airborne concentration and length of exposure 0.02 ppm odor. Threshold, all this given is given what is the threshold and what is affected, what all things, and this lead rapidly to death. That's why it's very, very dangerous. Then safety hazard, ignition, as if the surface temperature reaches to auto ignition temperature. So there are first fire hazard. Other information, the used in closed system only. This crude oil, what it is, it cannot be used in open system. And the composition information of the ingredient. This is extracted from the natural source, that is the ground, earth, because it is crude oil. We get it from the earth, and it containing these all component. It has got, and then the product is not mixed according to the regulation. This, and it is from the earth. It is going to the refinery. The chemical name petroleum crude oil, EC number, these all numbers to be mentioned so that you can refer to the correct definition and description. Hazardous class, as we have seen here, it is given. Classification of component. The additional information, it contains benzene, which is dangerous, contain ethyl benzene, naphtha, naphthalene, all these things it contains. Hydrogen sulfide, which is, that's why it is written that hydrogen sulfide may be present both in liquid and the vapor. And first aid measure, what first aid measures will be taken, because vaporization of the H2S, it has been trapped in clothes. Like, when you are going on to the day, you are in the boiler chute. When you come, you should wash your boiler chute when you end up the work, because your boiler chute can carry this hydrogen sulfide. And you are going to the cabin with the boiler chute, and you keep it in the cabin, then the cabin atmosphere will have the hydrogen sulfide, which is very, very dangerous. Then respiratory protection you must have, so that uh, and then mechanical ventilation has to be there so that you can get the fresh air. And then the remove to the fresh air immediately. Suppose somebody is exposed to this, then first aid measure, remove from that area so that in fresh air and rapid recovery does not occur. Then what will happen? Transport to the nearest medical facilities. And skin contact, remove contaminated clothing immediately. You remove, because if you are uh, contacted with the crude oil, immediately flush the skin with the large amount of water, so that all this dissolve, it will get dissolved and it will come out. And then at least for 15 minutes, then washing with the soap and water if available. And if like eye contact, suppose it is in the eye contact, you have the eye wash in the near the manifold. Why it is near the manifold? Because manifold, there are chances of leakages is high and the exposure is high. So eye contact, if it is immediately, you can have the wash. There is a shower there and the eye wash is there. So flush eyes with the water, and then for 30 minutes, rest eyes for 30 minutes. It means you close your eyes and uh, take rest. So redness, if redness, burning, that photo I had shown you, burning version and the swelling, then medical facility has to be used. Suppose you ingestion, it goes inside to the, if you swallow through the mouth, it has gone inside, then do not induce vomiting, transport to nearest medical facility. Why? If do not induce vomiting, if induce vomiting, what will happen? That will come out. If it does not, then it's not good. If it does not vomit, it means it is inside. It goes to the lungs and then there will be a big problem. So the victim should be taken to the nearest medical facility. If vomiting occurs spontaneously, then what will happen? Head below the hips and prevent aspiration. So give nothing by mouth. Do not induce vomiting, because if you try to give something with the mouth, you'll vomit. So, and we take into the nearest medical facility if it is spontaneously vomiting. And if it is fever, shortness of breath, chest congestion, or continue coughing and wheezing. So these are the this will happen if it goes inside. Self protection for the first aider, because first aider also will be exposed to that. You are trying to save somebody's life, but you should protect your life too. So that's why who is giving the first aid, he should protect himself, ensure that the person who is giving the first aid wearing appropriate PPE. So according to the incident injury, what kind of injury it is, so he should have that PPE. And most important symptom, what can be? Like the defatting, dermatitis sign and symptom. It includes the burning sensation and dried crack appearance on the skin, eye irritation. All this is given, everything is given here. What will be the symptom in MSDS? That's why I always refer to the MSDS. Then indication of any immediate medical attention is required. If it is hydrogen sulfide, then what will happen? There will be asphyxiant and it may cause this, like it is a poisonous. So what will happen? It will affect the brain and brain might not function, stop functioning. So that's why exposed to the hydrogen sulfide at concentration above the recommended occupational exposure, that is the TLV and TWA. So then the what will happen? You will have a headache, dizziness, irritation in the eyes, and upper respiratory tract, mouth and digestive tract, all this respiratory paralyzed, and finally it can lead to death. Then firefighting measure, because it has got fire hazard. So what will you do? Is what extinguishing medium will be using, or foam, water spray or fog, dry chemical powder, carbon dioxide, sand, earth, that is the mud, may be used for small fire. Then unsuitable extinguishing media, do not use jet of water for the wildfire on the burning product because it will spread the fire. Foam and water, on the same surface is to be avoided. You should not spray is allowed, water spray, but foam and water together don't allow, because foam will burst and there will not be any smothering effect. Then special hazards arising from these substances. So because this is a complex mixture of hydrocarbon, liquid gases and solids. So this uh, airborne solid or the liquid particulates and gases, carbon dioxide, then oxides of nitrogen, because if there is any fire, then all this thing will produce carbon monoxide, oxides of hydrogen, oxides of sulfur. So this there are many unidentified organic and inorganic compound also will be there. So the flammable vapor, it will be present at temperature below the flush point. Maybe the vapor is heavier and air than air, then what will happen? It will spread at the ground level. At the ground level where you are living, so it will become very dangerous. And it will contain the hydrogen sulfide, which is very toxic, and this atmosphere will become very toxic, poisonous. So firefighter, what will be the advice? Proper PPE, chemical resistant gloves to be owned, chemical resistant suit, and large contact suppose with the firefighter, it is expected. Then the self-contained breathing apparatus, and then the fire should be confined in a space so that, and the firefighters clothing approved to relevant standard. It means the firefighter should wear the correct relevant standard uh, firefighting fireman suits. And then additional advice. So adjacent containers, it means when there is a fire, adjacent compartment should be cooled down but with the water spray, because the heat can transfer to another zone and it can get ignited that compartment also. And if fire cannot be extinguished, then evacuation is immediately required. Now, because suppose the accidental release, what will be the measure? There can be accidental release. In that case, personal precautions, protection equipment, and the emergency procedure, what will be? So, for non-emergency personnel, this is like may ignite on the surface at the temperature above auto ignition temperature, because if it above the auto ignition temperature, you don't need any additional external heat, and do not breathe fumes, vapor, do not operate electrical equipment. There can be spark and which can cause the fire. For emergency responder, like it might ignite on the surface at the temperature above auto ignition temperature. Don't breathe, don't operate electrical equipment. Environmental protection, shut off the leakage. If there is any leakage, you isolate that so that it does not pollute the water. It does not go onto the water. If possible, without personal risk, remove all possible sources of ignition from the surroundings, so that the combustible material you are removing from that area. So this, like you must use appropriate containment of the product of the firefighting water so that environmental contamination is not there. So if you can contain the firefighting water, because once you are doing the firefighting water, it might have mixed with the oil and it might overflow and then it might go to the sea for pollution. Then the method of material and containment and cleanup. If large oil spill, more than one drum, that 200-liter drum what we keep in the soap. That's why SOAP locker you have the drums, so you can transfer it to the drums or you can transfer it to a tank also. So transfer by mechanical means, like you have the pump, Wilden pump, and you can transfer it and recover and then safely you can dispose it of. Then additional advice, you must, if this happens, what will you do? You must notify the authorities. So the local authorities as well as the flag state to be informed and the class to be informed. So that there are, in SOPEP locker, their SOPEP plan, there is a contact list, emergency contact list. It is updated every 3 months and it is issued by IM. The superintendent every 3 months he download uh, from the website of the IMO and send it to the vessel. So for the update, so that contact, according to that contact, it has to be contacted. Then reference to other sections like for PPE, chapter 8, it says what all kind of PPE has to be used. And then for guidance, disposal of a spilled material, how it is best to be disposed of, all these things is been given. Handling and storing, what is the precaution has to be taken. So what is the risk assessment? It has to be put accordingly. So to determine how to control safe handling, storing and disposal of the material. Like for an example, after the discharge, you have the residues. That residues after the wash, it goes to the slop tank we have seen, and then that oil which is being separated, that is being disposed of to the stored facilities. You cannot incinerate that. It is not allowed. Then precaution for safe. When using, do not eat and drink, do not extinguish any naked flames near to that so that it can get ignited. So handling, don't smoke, no ignition source, avoid spark, no, never siphon by mouth. Many times the people on board, suppose they want to take out the small liquid, they siphon it out. Like the freshwater generator, suppose it is not drained completely, what you do, you put a tube inside and then you suck it by the mouth and then siphon it out. Never do with the cargo. Then product transfer, always wait for 2 minutes after the tank filling and before opening the hatch or manual. Because the wait for means before opening the manual or the hatch, wait for 30 minutes. And because what happened when you are waiting for 30 minutes, it gets settled. The vapor release will be less. Avoid splash filling because it will generate more vapors. So these all the product transfer, during the transfer, what all things to be done, it is written here. Then conditions for safe storage. So container, keep the container closed because container means your tank also is a container. You are containing the cargo. So it has to be closed, sealed, and this and the opening also should be minimum opening should be there. Means when you are taking the manual arrange or manual sampling, so the opening should be very limited time. Immediately again you close and then again you fill up the with the IG if the pressure drops. Then the next is the exposure control. So and the personal protection. This is the control parameter. What will be the control TWA? You can see it is 1 ppm for benzene. Hydrogen sulfide, it is 1 ppm. From here, you can check what is the TWA or TLB value. So it should be less than that when you are entering. You can refer to. And it varies. You can see naphthalene, it is 15 ppm, means the 10 ppm and the 20 ppm. It depends upon what is the uh, crude you have. Because if it is higher than that, you can have short time exposure. But if it is below that, the health occupational safety, what it says, the 8 hours per day and 40 hours per week maximum. So all this information is given to us. Eye protection, hand protection, for PPE, what kind of PPE you will be using, all is given here. Then body protection, chemical resistant gloves, then boots and aprons, respiratory protection. So airborne concentration, if level which is adequate, so to protect the worker health, so you need to have the mask or breathing apparatus you need to use. Then next section 9, what it says, physical and chemical properties. It says what is the, you can see all the information you can get, the boiling range, flush point. Flush point is less than 23 degrees centigrade. You can see it is so volatile. Because it contains gases, so in average, it is less than 23 degree centigrade. And it is a flammable liquid. Electrical conductivity, you see, it is low conductivity. So its low conductivity means it is static accumulator. Stability and reactivity. Reactivity is oxides with in presence of air. Chemical stability, stable. Hazardous reaction, there is no hazardous reaction because this is not chemical. Chemical is you have a hazardous reaction. Condition to avoid heat spark, that is the source of ignition. Incompatibility, strong oxidizing agent you cannot use with this. Polymerization, this cargo does not have that polymerization problem. Polymerization problem means it become chain reaction and it become large chains. Then it property also changes and it's difficult. It will become plastic. But for this crude oil, that problem is not there. Toxicity. So this is, you can see the low toxicity LD 50 is more than 5,000 mg per kg for the rat. And LD 50 more than 2,000 mg per kg for rabbit. So this was applied to the rat and rabbit. Rat, 50% rat has died at 5,000 milligram per kg when it was the concentration. And whereas rabbit has died, mg per kg is 2000, more than 2000. So this is the values we know. What is the LD values for that is the toxicity level of this cargo. And extreme toxic is hydrogen sulfide. You can see this is LC is 100 equal to 600 ppm. This much 600 ppm for 30 minutes for man will not survive. You can see here it is 5000 milligram per kg rat, 50% rat diet. Whereas 600 ppm, 30 minutes exposure, man cannot survive. Skin corrosion or the irritation, so it should not have direct contact with your skin. Then it will go inside the body and it absorb the oil which is there in our body, and that then the skin become cracked and it will become damaged. Serious eye irritation, respiratory means the this respiratory irritation, unless it goes to the lungs, it means it goes to inside, then it's a problem. So these are the health hazard it's given here. The organ, we have seen that what all organ it can affect. Ecological information. So this is harmful because for the aquatic organism, and also another problem is this is very sticky. It takes years to get it clean. So it takes very long time. For the fish, aquatic algae, aquatic plant, microorganism, all gets affected by this. Then disposal consideration. So how do you dispose? Local legislation, what is said, you'll have to dispose. You cannot dispose it at sea. You'll have to dispose it to the shore facilities. So they have their own regulation, and accordingly it has to be disposed of. So this is the transportation information. Transport in bulk. Once it is transported in bulk, like tanker will be carrying in bulk this product, that is the crude oil, then the MARPOL annex it complies with an IBC code. It has to be complied. Then regulatory information and safety, health and environmental substances, the mixture. Then other information, extremely flammable, may cause cancer. That's why, and another thing, remember, when you are on board, you are you have a health insurance, isn't it? But the cancer is one thing. Suppose you are in contact with the cargo, and because of that, you have the cancer maybe after 10 years. Understood? The problem is that time you won't, there is a provision. If you can prove that it had happened because of that, you had a contact when you are on a particular ship, and now you are having the cancer, but it will be very difficult to prove that. And that moment you will not have the, probably you will not have the insurance, because seafarers, that is the problem. You are on board, you are covered by the insurance, but when you are at home, it is not covered, and it happens so many years after so many years. That's why be very careful. Your nothing you should follow what it says, so that it will not happen, because some this cancer and all immediately it does not happen, it takes very long time. So this is a serious damage to the health you can have when you are exposed to the skin. So always, that is the reason, even for the chemical which you have on ship, for the engineer which you use, There is also MSDS is kept in the steering. Where is the chemical locker? MSDS is kept. Similarly, the cargo also MSDS is kept for all the, you know, what is to be means what is to be done. That is in case of any fire or air hazard, everything, all the details has been given. So this is the MSDS uh, for all cargoes. When the cargo is carried, any cargo is carried, MSDS is provided to the vessel by the cargo owner, the cargo shipper. So next is, so this is the simulated exercise, but we cannot do. But in our simulator, actually, I give one exercise, inerting and the pumping, cargo, use of cargo oil pump. But now, since we cannot give, what we do, this in let me show you the inert uh, IG system, and I ask you some question. You answer to those. So all of you, can you see the IG system on the screen? You cannot see, no? Okay. Now, yeah. So uh, this is the system. Tell me, uh, when you suppose you want to start the IG, how will you start? The line you all have understood. I had explained, isn't it? Suppose the vessel has gone to discharge cargo. Now, before discharging, you need to have your IG ready, inert gas. So tell me, uh, how will you start it?
The teacher has sent the link. Join to the computer.
Yes, who will answer to that? Tank is full of cargo. You have gone to discharge the cargo. You will be prepared. First, you'll have to prepare the IG. How will you prepare? The system, have you understood or not? I had explained to you all the system.
First, the seawater for the scrubber.
Yes, correct. Who is answering? Okay, Tasame. So tell me. Yeah, you are correct. Seawater scupper pump, seawater scupper seawater pump has to be started first. Then
Then valve line lining up the valves. The floor
which
valves.
one?
Valves.
But when you have started the pump, do you need to set the line? You have started the scupper seawater pump. But before that, you need to set the line, isn't it? Because those line is not set, it is isolated in normal condition. First, seawater for the scupper seawater pump line to be set. Water valves, pump section delivery, overboard valve has to be set, open, and then scupper seawater pump to be started. After that, which valve you are talking about? You said some valve. Tell me, what will be the boiler? What about the boiler? Boiler should be running or not? Because if you don't start the boiler, this valve you open, what will happen? It will draw air, isn't it? So we'll be starting the boiler. Boiler should be in auto. After that, you open the valve, and this uh, the seawater pump when you start for the scupper, after that, before that, there will be an alarm because there was no flow of water and level of water. So that should go off. So this after that you open this valve, but make sure the fresh air intake valve is the intake valve is shut and blank is in place. Otherwise, it can draw fresh air. Then you open this valve, the one which you want to use, the blower, inlet and outlet, and after that you start the blower. But you should not open the this valve, this deck isolating valve at that moment because you are not sending to the deck. First, you need to ensure that your oxygen content is zero, means it is less than 8%, less than 5% for good quality of IG. So you start the blower, and this blower, if you see, this recirculation line has to be open before starting, so that the uptake valve will come like this, the IG, and it will go to the blower, and then from here it will go back to the scrubber. So it will recirculate. So once it recirculates, because it takes some time to stable for your oxygen content. Once the oxygen content is within the limit, then you can open the, it means then it can go to the IG main. Before that, you cannot say, because the oxygen analyzer will not allow it to send it to the deck because this valve will be shut. And there is a drain. As I told you, the casing has got a drain that has to also. Now tell me, if the casing has got a drain, if there is no water here, then IG will get leaked out, isn't it? Which we don't want. So this drain has to have a loop seal. What is loop seal? So this will be a loop seal like this. What is the loop seal? This much water will remain in the seal. So only when the water gets accumulated, the water will push out this, and this much water will remain in the seal, and that is the that will prevent any gas to leak out. So once you start this, then you monitor the O2 content. Once the O2 content is within the limit, then you can send the IG to the tank. Because if O2 content is more than 8%, your cargo pump you won't be able to start because it is related connected. Cargo pump only you will be able to start when your O2 content is less than 8%. And then you can send the O2 means the your IG to the tank. Now tell me, like Tasame said that he will start the scubber seawater pump. That is the first thing he said he will do. What about the deck seal pump? Have you understood what I asked?
So
Deck seal seawater pump. What will happen to that? Will you start that? Have you understood why I asked that question? He did not say that he will start. Now tell me why he said he will not start. So from Addis, tell me, one of you, why the SMS did not mention that he will start the Dexil seawater pump? Who wants to answer from Addis? Okay, it's open to everybody who wants to answer. Is that clear what I asked? Your Dexil also need water or no? But Tasama did not say anything about that. Why? Yeah, let me ask Tasama only. Tasama, you did not mention anything about the Dexil water pump. Why?
It is always running, no?
Yes. It should be always running, but you should ensure that yes, it is always running. That's why he did not mention. Whether there is IG operation or not immaterial, it should be running at all time. Now, once it goes to the recirculation, or sometime it goes to the atmosphere before it going to the tank, because there is another diagram. I think there was more diagram of IG system in your handouts. Yeah, here you have it going to the atmosphere and it going to the tank. So initially here you see there is no recirculation. So initially it will go to the atmosphere after the flow. Different system, there are different system in recirculation. The advantage is for short time period of time when you are stop the supply of the IG, don't shut down the IG plant, put it on recirculation. Like the tea break, coffee break, like that. And even the lunch break also, we don't stop because it takes longer time to restart. So this is the going to the atmosphere. So initially you put it to the atmosphere, and then once the O2 contained, you see its correct percentage, and then you can put it to the day, because unless the O2 content is correct, you won't be able to start the COP, cargo oil. And boiler, suppose your O2 content is high, it can happen. Then in that case, how will you reduce the O2 content? Many times it happens on ship. The O2 content is high. What will you do in that case? And another thing, before you start, the O2 analyzer should be calibrated, so that you are sure that your O2 analyzer is operating correctly. Now, tell me. So tell me, it can happen, isn't it? It can, I mean, many times it happens. The O2 content is high. In that case, what will you do? You have started the IG plant, O2 content is not coming down. Yes, Tasame, tell me.
Maybe increase the load.
If you, yes, one thing you can increase the load of boil, isn't it? That's what you mentioned. The boiler load will be increased, or If after increasing the load also it's not coming down, then what will you do? Then air fuel ratio you can adjust. So the air fuel ratio to be reduced. O2 content is high means the excess air is high. That you can adjust. And you must put the boiler on automatic because your steam consumption will vary. Accordingly, it should be adjusted automatically. Otherwise, it is not possible manually you to adjust somebody standing there. And once it is stable, the O2 content is stable, you have adjusted the air fuel ratio correctly so that you get the O2 content less than 5%, which is a good quality of IG. After that, you can put it to the tank. Now, my question is this IG system, it means after that you will be opening this deck isolating valve and then it will go to the, and another thing, the pressure regulating valve adjustment to be done from the cargo control room, what pressure to be maintained in the IG main line. Now, tell me these two valves. What will you do in these two valves? Will be open position or the closed position? That is going to the masterizer. Clear, understood what I said? During the discharging, what will be the position of these two valves? Who will answer to that? Just think, you logically you will be able to answer. During the loading, during the discharging, you are discharging the cargo, you'll be discharging the cargo, and pressure will drop in the tank. The pressure to maintain, you cannot uh, introduce air, it has to be introduced IG. So these two valves will be in closed position or open position. So these two should be in closed position. Otherwise, IG will go from there to the atmosphere, isn't it? During the loading, during the discharging, these two valves to be closed, both the valves. After once you complete the discharging, it will remain closed. Then when will you open this valve? For an example, you are loading cargo. When you are loading cargo, IG you don't need because already your tank is inerted. This valve is shut. IG plant is shut. All is isolated. This is shut. All these valves is shut. During the loading, what will be the position of these two valves? Close or open? You are loading the cargo in the tank.
Depending on the pressure, we will open.
Yes, that's the correct answer. So this main valve should be open. Because when you are loading, pressure will increase. That will get escape like this. Unless you have the vapor recovery system. So it goes back to the your terminal. So this pressure to be released by this. Then what is the purpose of this valve? I had explained before. Think and tell me. Because during the loading, large quantity of existing gases to be escaped, it gets escaped through the main valve. But what is the purpose then? Breather valves. This is now loading is stopped and means it is completed. Then what will happen? We'll keep this valve shut. Okay. Once this valve is shut, during the passage, there can be some vapor generation in the tank because of the temperature variation, and that vapor has to be released. So this breather valve during the passage is kept open so that that pressure will be released through these small breather valves, because that vapor will not be that much. During the loading, the vapor means the release of uh, gases will be much higher. Clear? Understood? So suppose your blower has tripped. Okay, what can be the reason? During the operation, the blower has tripped. You already covered the trips and alarms, isn't it?
High temperature,
High?
discharge temperature,
Yes, the temperature is high. It will trip. Anything else? The blower will trip, isn't it? Then O2 content is high. What will happen? Blower will trip. Then now uh, tell me, if the scupper water level is high, what will happen? Suppose you scupper water level is high, alarm is coming. Uh, what will happen in that case? Your IG will stop, isn't it? The blower will uh, trip, but anything else will happen? What will happen to the scupper seawater pump? It will also trip. So what will be the effect if there is any alarm, or what all things will trip, that you must know, because if the system trip, you need to know what it had gone wrong. Now tell me any question on this IG system, because your concept should be very, very clear about this, because you will be the person, if there is a problem, who is going to attend? Understood? So you must have thorough knowledge of this. So any question, tell me. This is very simple diagram. It has been schematic diagram, it's been shown. But seawater piping system is not been shown here.
or PV breakers.
Yeah, PV breaker is, if you see the PV breaker, it is a container which is containing water. And this is the IG main. So if you see this IG main, the IG is coming up to here. But because of this water column height, it acts as a seal, water seal. The gas will not escape because of this height. Now what will happen? Once the pressure inside the tank increases, this IG main is connected to all the tanks, isn't it? The tank pressure increases, IG main pressure also will increase. So in that case, what will happen? This pressure will increase. Once this pressure will increase, what will happen to this water? This water will be displaced by this pressure and this water will come out from the container. Once the water is come out, then your container is empty. This pipe, which is connected to the IG main, it means if it is high pressure, that pressure will get released through this pipe. It means this pipe is now open to the atmosphere. Understood? And if there is a vacuum in this tank, that is vacuum will create here also. So because of this surface of this liquid, atmospheric pressure is acting. So the outside pressure now is more than the inside pressure. So what will happen? This atmospheric pressure will press this liquid and this liquid will go inside this pipe. And then this pipe, water will go inside. After that, the air, fresh air will go inside from outside. So the tank vacuum will break. It's like a vacuum breaker. So once the vacuum is broken, it will the pressure inside the tank, there will not be vacuum because from outside the air has entered into the system. It goes to the IG main, then it goes to the tank because IG main is connected to all tanks. Understood?
But it is oxygen, air.
Yes. This is the question you have thought of, that why we are introducing the oxygen, isn't it? Because it is dangerous. That's why it came in your mind. But when you have the two dangerous situation, which one you will be adopting? Less dangerous. If the tank collapses because of the vacuum, that is more dangerous than this. That is the reason it is accepted. And as I told you, the pressure is been tested. Tank pressure has been tested, but vacuum never been tested. Vacuum is only theoretical calculation. We don't know at what vacuum it will collapse. So that is the reason. Now tell me, during the passage, this valve is kept open or shut? What do you think during the loaded passage?
It is open.
Open. Correct answer. Why it is open? During the passage, you are keeping this open, isn't it? If you isolate this, how this pressure will get released? So during the passage, all the branch line walls are kept open. Now tell me, if during the passage all the branch line is kept open, you see most of the during the loading it is kept open, during the discharging it is kept open, then why do you need this one? Isn't it? During loaded passage, always we are keeping it open. But still you need this valve because to isolate, suppose you are doing some maintenance in this tank, other tanks are, there is no problem. So what will you do? You need to isolate other tanks from this tank. So unless you have this valve, you won't be able to isolate. So that is the reason. Plus the cargo. Suppose one grade of cargo here, another grade of cargo here, and we cannot mix this cargo. It can mix vapor here, transfer, so we can keep it isolated. So, any other question on this system? So now tell me, uh, because for the crude oil carrier, for the oil tanker, even some product carrier also will be having the steam turbine. So the steam turbine, when you operate the steam turbine, uh, in your okay, uh, the steam turbine, to start that steam turbine, uh, the procedure. Can anybody tell me the procedure for the steam turbine to start? Has anybody seen on board the ship? COPT, that is the cargo oil pump turbine driven. Okay, so what was the drive? What was the prime mover for the cargo pump?
Ram, hydraulic.
So Framo, you have used Framo. All of you used Framo? So anybody used electrical motor or steam turbine? I think most of you has worked on oil chemical tanker. So because in now tell me, on your vessel you have Framo system. Uh, What is the advantage of having FRAM? What is the reason you feel that your vessel was having FRAMO system? There must be some reason for that, isn't it? So was it oil chemical tanker? Yes, Tasame. What type of ship was that?
Oil and chemical.
Oil and chemical. So why it was FRAMO? Because the reason is that's why I think most of you have seen those type of system because you have sailed on oil chemical tanker. Oil chemical tanker, like chemical demand in the market is huge, but the quantity demand is not there. Understood what I said? So you have number of tanks, and number of tanks it is filled up with it is carrying different grade of chemical. And if you have a common pump, then what will happen? There will be chances of contamination. And chemical is such you cannot contaminate. So that is the reason you use the FRAMO. Those ships are designed with the FRAMO so that individual tank has got a submersible pump. So that there is no question of contamination because that pump delivery goes to the manifold. You must have seen the number of tanks, each tank has got a manifold. And there is a common manifold also. Like this type of arrangement is there. You have number of manifold, each tank has got a manifold. Suppose three tank. There is three manifold. So three pipes is coming here and three flanges there. Suppose you have a same car, oil you are carrying oil. Same oil you are carrying to all the tanks. In that case, what will happen? You will be discharged, you can discharge through all the tanks together, isn't it? So there is a pipe like this. So now it has become common. So this is the terminal, it is connected. This is the, suppose three tank, all three tanks, you have submersible pump. Now it can be discharged commonly. And if it is carrying chemical or different grade, this pipe you don't connect. Individually, you discharge. So there is no contamination because the number of pump decide how many grade of cargo you will be able to carry at the same time. So that is the reason you have seen the FRAMO system. But oil tanker also can have FRAMO. But crude oil tanker usually will not have FRAMO. Or product tanker, different product, if it is carries, then it can have. It usually it might not have also. But for chemical, yes, it is. The individual tank should have so that more number of grade you can carry at the same. Now, tell me if you want to start uh, a centrifugal pump, which is a cargo pump, how will you start? Simple centrifugal pump. Cargo pump is mostly centrifugal pump. You have other positive displacement pump you do use, but as I told you, I had explained why you use. How will you start the pump? Yeah, that's how much tell.
Suction valve is open
Say
and
again?
discharge. Suction valve is kept open and
Yeah.
discharge valve is closed. Or if it is a big pump, small crack open.
Yeah.
If it has priming arrangement, you open the priming. Then start.
Yeah, that's the correct way to start. And you should start, if it is variable speed pump, you should pump should be slowly, you should increase the RPM. And that is the correct way because the discharge valve should be kept shut. When you start, then when do you open the discharge valve? When the pressure build, slowly you open the discharge valve. Now, suppose your mm, bearing temperature is increasing. What will you do? Mate will tell, CCR will tell ECR that the cargo pump bearing temperature is increasing. Means, what do you think the problem is?
Pump capacity have to be reduced.
What is reduced?
Pump capacity have to be reduced.
Capacity has to be reduced. Yeah, you can reduce the capacity, but what can be any other reason? What will be the, it means that is the cooling problem, isn't it? So the how it is been cooled, the bearing
By the oil.
by cargo itself. So the it means maybe the suction filter is choked. Then also it will happen, isn't it? So capacity you can reduce so that heat generation is reduced. But the flow to increase, suction filter should be checked first so that it cools the bearing. So tell me any question from your side till now? And tomorrow, whole day there will be classes. Sunday will be off. And Monday, Tuesday it will be over, your course. So that we can close it on Tuesday. So any question? Yes, can participant from Addis? Any question? Okay, when is the assigned test? It will be on Tuesday. Tuesday, that will be the after lunch, there will be test. How I'll do, I'll send the assignment to all of you by email. And once you receive, I'll give you time. Within that time frame, you'll have to complete and send it me by email. And then I'll check the assignment. You need to score more than 70% minimum. 70% is the pass mark. Once you score 70% and above, then your course is complete. Have you understood? Clear? All of you?
No. Yes, sir. Repeat again.
Yeah, say again. Is it clear or not? Have you understood or not? Yeah, Tuesday afternoon.
Please repeat it again.
So Tuesday afternoon, that's why I asked email from all of you. I'll send the email and individually you'll have to give the exam, and then you'll have to, you take from your mobile, you can take the scan it and send it to me by email. Okay. All of you have data card or not? All of you are seafarers. Seafarers always have latest technology. Yes or no?
Yes.
So you scan it. It means what will you do? You don't have to scan because you cannot take print. So what will you do? The question number you write and what is the answer you write in what format, and then you send it to me. And you can convert into PDF. When you send it to me, you convert into PDF, and then it will, I'll assess it and tell you what is the score you have got.
Chief,
Yeah.
can you just repeat what you said, because we are having network problem?
About the exam?
Yes, and also the assignment.
Yeah, assignment, what I'll do, I'll send it by email to individually, and then you do the assignment. I'll give you a time frame. Within that time, you'll have to complete that and send it to me back. Once you send it to me back, for an example, if it is multiple choice, then what will you do? You write question number 1 and what is the correct answer, A, B, C, D. Suppose C is the correct answer, you think, you write 1C, like that. In email, you send it to me. And then I'll assess that the score, you'll have to score 70% minimum. That is the pass mark. Once you get 70% and above, your course is completed. Understood? Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear. What about the exam, Chief?
What about the exam means? Exam will be from your handouts only. So handout, that's a PDF format I had given the handouts. You go through it. Questions will be within that. And your PPT in PDF form, I'll give you on Monday.
Okay.
You will get it on Monday. Okay. So go through these handouts and your understanding should be clear. So go through it so you'll be able to answer the questions. Okay. Any other questions?
Excuse me, sir.
About the, yeah?
Excuse me, it is better to send Saturday, the
No,
PDF,
it has
PDF
been
format.
no, it is decided. Because I have already discussed, it has been decided. That is the way it will be. I'll give you on Monday. So you can, it is the same thing actually what you have in the handouts, PPT and PDF, it's same. Exactly the same thing. So you'll have to, one thing, since it is a distance learning, that is, I understand you don't have hard copy. Hard copy is easier to study. Because of Addis office, like the 3 of you are in, yes, have you got the hard copy or not? Where there? Have you got the hard copy?
No, sir.
No?
Yes,
You got or not?
not yet, sir.
No, I'll tell. I'll inform tomorrow. Tomorrow I will get it. Tomorrow morning, or even office is still open, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'll send an email immediately,
No,
and you can get it.
No, sir. Tomorrow is not open the office. It's already closed tomorrow.
Today already closed.
Yeah, already now. 5
Okay,
o'clock.
because yeah, now because of this 4:30 they do leave. But why didn't you tell me? First day I told you, no, 3 of you will get the hard copy. But Monday morning I'll make sure that you get the hard copy.
Okay.
3 of you will get, because this course is arranged so fast, so we have the hard copy in office, in the academy. but not in Addis office. We could not send. So go through the PDF and PPT. I'll give it to you in the Monday morning. You will get it. And all of you. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, what if you score less than 70%?
What is that?
What if you score less than 70%?
Yes, if somebody cannot score 70%, then he'll have to reassessment has to be. I'll give the reassessment.
Reassessment. Okay, sir.
So then you do the reassessment, yeah, and it will be immediately because it will not take much time for me to assess. Once I assess, I declare the result. If anybody is fall short of 70%, you will give the reassessment. I'll give 15-20 minutes to go through the PPTs, PDF means handouts, and then you can reappear. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So if any other question, if no other questions, then let us close here today, and tomorrow 8:15 will start.
Thank you.
Thank you.